So sort of some speculation going on in the hockey world right now around the Leafs. So I think it was either a former assistant coach or I'm pretty sure former assistant coach of the Marlies or the Leafs. It was one of the two that like kind of threw around like and like how and just so for our audience out there, generic NHL lineup: 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, 1 goalie. So the thing that's kind of been being thrown around is a 2 forward, 3 defensemen lineup. Just based off that, not looking at the Leafs or anything, how do you think that would work in the NHL?
I don't. Because think about it. If there's 3 defensemen and there's only 2 forwards, then
Mm-hmm.
the scoring is probably going to go down. If That's assuming all the
In a
defensemen are stay-home
way,
defensemen, because eventually you're just going to realize, okay, we're going
but
to need someone
that,
to come up.
but in that case, you can't play 3 stay-at-home defensemen. So let's look
So
like
you need someone to come up and help
basically
the
you.
offense,
So
almost like a forward.
So basically, yeah, which kind of is the exact position of a center. Like, it's I don't know. So
Eh,
I guess it helps keep the puck out of the net, and maybe we'll throw some teams off with covering guys because maybe some guys are like used to covering guys in certain spots, and now they're in different spots. I really don't know. But like, okay, now we're throwing out the Leafs in here because it's mainly speculative around them. Can the Leafs pull this off and win games with the team they have right now?
I don't know why they have to. I don't know why the fuck they have to be different, bro. Like, just go three
So
forwards, 2D.
so if we're
Like,
looking at it like this, so their starting lineup, if they were to do this, so either Matthews and Nylander or Tavares and Marner up top. We're not really focusing on that though. And on the blue line, so figure you play like 2 guys like in the back and then one a bit above them, like maybe you throw like Morgan Riley in that middle spot and like a Brody and
Bogosian.
I was gonna say Bogosian, but maybe a Dermott's more realistic, or even like a Liljegren. I'm just throwing out names, but like the Leafs don't even have enough defenders to play 6. I feel like they barely have enough. Like they're gonna have to play like I just don't see how this is gonna work. You're gonna have to completely alter who you dress because you're gonna have to dress more defensemen than forwards, right?
Yeah.
So figure you. I honestly I don't see it working, especially for the
No,
Leafs.
neither do I. It's not necessary change. I'm pretty sure the style of play now is perfectly fine.
I'm gonna throw out a big butt though, because I think one team would be able to pull this off. Carolina Hurricanes.
What makes you say that?
Just the quality of skill they have on that blue line. If any team were to do it, I'm not saying they should do it, but if any team were to do it, they'd be able to pull it off.
Well, let's look at their top four. Their top four is Dougie Hamilton, Jacob Slavin. Okay, I'm gonna put Brett Pesce over Brady Shea and Jake
Smart.
Gardner. And then Hayden Fleury maybe if he starts. But
But
then again,
you can name 7 to 8 quality
no,
NHL
that yeah,
defensemen on that team, is what I'm saying. So in theory, they'd be able to pull it off.
yeah.
Not saying it would work, but they'd be able to do it.
You have to realize they also have Joachim fucking Ryan.
Oh, I
Okay,
forgot he went there.
I didn't even know that until I just saw that now.
No, I didn't. I
Um,
did know that. I did know that. He signed this offseason. He played with LA for a little bit, then he went over to
you're kind
Carolina.
of right. If there is any team that's gonna do it, it's
It'd be
Carolina.
Carolina. Like their forward core is good, but it's not as good as their blue line, in my opinion. So maybe I don't think they'd try it, but they'd be able to make it work. I think out of any NHL team, they're most
Yeah,
likely to be able to make it
realistically,
work.
I think the only way to talk about this properly, I think Rod Brandamore has to come on the podcast at this point and just tell us what he
Get
thinks
Rob
about it.
Brondamore and Don Waddell on the podcast. We'll have a discussion with those two, coach GM, see what they have to say about it. Or we'll get Sheldon Keefe and what the fuck is his name? Kyle Dubas on the podcast.
Kyle Dubas. I'd love
Because
to have Kyle Dubas on here.
in reality, like if you think about it with the Leafs, I watched a video from TSN where they all talk about it. Um, they said that the Leafs would be most likely to try it because of like the willingness of Keefe and Dubas. But like say another team like Pittsburgh, like Jim Rutherford. That was actually a bad example. Winnipeg Jets, like Kevin Cheveldayoff wouldn't want to do that. Mark Bergevin wouldn't want to do that. Even like Jeff Gordon or Doug Wilson, they probably wouldn't want to do that.
Jeff Gordon's too elite to do that.
But not gonna answer that question. But
Wasn't a question.
Yes, it was. In question, I'd say no. This would not work. I'm pretty sure that's the obvious answer.
Yeah, no, I was saying that as soon as you brought it up. I was like, even like I don't know if I said this to you before we started recording. Like this is like it doesn't make sense. Like,
no, it doesn't. It's a cool idea, I guess. Personally, if it was my hockey team, I wouldn't try it.
If they do it and they end up like winning a fucking cup doing it, then they got to make a movie or some shit about that.
But maybe
the game.
Maybe you look at the Detroit Red Wings or the Ottawa Senators or a team like that. Say they have a really bad start to the season. Like they start off like, I don't know, like 4-17 or some shit like that. I'm throwing out numbers. But in that case, like you already suck. Why not try something different and see if you can suck less, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like if you're a terrible team, you have options to try.
Sucking less, it does intrigue.
Or maybe if you're really good, maybe you start off the year 20-0. Maybe you can afford to try it then. So maybe say Tampa starts off the year at like 18-4. Maybe they throw this in there. Tampa could probably pull it off. Like Tampa, they got some
Tampa,
they could do anything basically. They got McDonough, Hedman, Sergachev. Like they got some guys there. I don't know. It's all speculative talk, but I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. I figured we'd talk about it a little bit. So I guess. So what's your final conclusion on it? No, wouldn't work.
Absolutely not. No.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and agree with
welcome
you.
they prove me wrong.
I welcome it.
If it'll cause more entertaining hockey, then yeah, go for it.
I'm all for it. Yeah. It's kind of like the trap, like the Senators did. They played what was it? It was what was the format? I forgot, but they did some like weird ass trap style. Because remember that clip where it was another team against the Senators where they just sat behind the net because they didn't forecheck and they just had to blow the whistle. Maybe we see something like that. Like maybe that shies teams away from it. Maybe. I don't really know though. But that was so long ago. I don't know. Let's move on from this because we're kind of just beating a dead horse.